to Dan's TV. This is the next episode. It's another Guardian warm roof. Pan round. So nice and slow.
Okay.
Not too slow. Oh my god. I'm going to try and show you more of how I'm cutting them. Because some people are saying, why did you go fast? You're going slow when you went fast. People are saying the camera needs to be slower so they can see what's happening. Some people are saying they need to be longer. I need to show more skimming. So I'm going to try and show you what I can. But I'm trying to keep them as short as I can. So this job is, they took the conservatory down and they put a new frame up, put new frames on, a new Guardian warm roof on. They put, they took all the dabbing off, so it wants re-dabbing. So, yeah, we're going to get at it. Right. Right, when you're cutting these, the first thing to do is try and flatten them, so you want to find out where the board is. You see this batten here? That's always a good point. So, you need to find out what that is. I would say 600. Check that, 600. Check it at either end. Oh, see, it's not 600 there. I would say that's 580 there. Right. So it's 58. So it's 58. So you always take 10 mil off either side. So that I'm going to cut this 56. So you cut 56 off a board. That'll get you 120, which is there. And then you want another one, which is there. It's all about trying to suss out how to cut them the best way to get your bits and pieces. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, because if I cut that, it's going to just trying to suss out what's what, Liam. It's not worth doing. You know, when you get, if that to there is more than a full board, it's not worth putting strips in. You may as well put, if I cut a board, it's 58. If I cut that in one, and the off cut will do that. Yeah. Won't it? And then I'm left with something like 30 odd. You know, from there to here, I'm left with 30. So that'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 will go into there. So 4 at 30. Right, I've sussed out what I'm doing. That's what you've got to do with these. You've got to suss them. You've got to suss out your cuts. Suss out where you are. And then it's happy days. So let me try and explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that one out of a full rip. And I'm going to use the other half of it to go down here. Then I'm going to put my board there, square that up, right? So then this cut is easy because you're only cutting a triangle. So there'll be a board there. Same here, go to that point, wherever the point is going to land. Full board from there to there, 120. So it's going to be there, the full board. Ow. So then again, that triangle is easy to cut because it'll be from that point, I've worked out from that point to there is less than 1.2 meters, so that's less than a full board. So when I cut that triangle, the other half of the board should fit. That angle should be the same as that angle. If not, I can recut it. But it's probably the same. Same with her. Once I've cut that, it can go there. Then I've got to cut one for that strip, but put the other strip in there and the bits in there. Oh man, it's getting a bit complicated, this. You'll see. Right, I don't think the camera was recording, so I lost quite a good bit of footage, but what I'll show you is, I've cut this 20 mil shorter than it actually is, for the simple reason, it was 58 and I've cut it 56, but when you put this template up, you see it's pretty much bang on. If I'd have cut it 56, we'd have got sort of that going on, because that would have been longer, so that this board would have hit there like that, And as you can see, that's no good. So if you take 10mm off for either side, it fits perfect both sides. So then I measured the length to that point, measured the length to that point and marked it. Found out what that was. That was 32, I think. So that marks at 16. Put a mark at 32 and then just join the dots up. You see, that's not perfect, but you're not going to get them perfect every time. That is not so bad. It's only probably 10mm. I can fill that with scrim and stuff. So we've used that template. See, that template's got a chamfer on it. So you hold it on, mark it with a pencil line and measure that. Right, so here we go. This is me and Liam boarding a ceiling, I suppose, putting the boards up. Liam's screwing up while I'm cutting the next one, just measuring up. You see how they go up? They just go up like that. We put a few screws in. A couple of screws will hold these on their own, believe it or not. Right, this is me cutting a triangle. Right, this is the one I wanted to show you. It slowed down a bit now in the video. A bit fast that, wasn't it? That's 104 centimetres. So, like I keep going on about, you square up the conservatory. So you put that board on to square up the triangle. So one end of the triangle is square and the other is just the sort of diagonal bit. So that, I think it was 206, I think it was. So then transfer them. So set your benches up. Get the scaffolding out of the way. Put the board flat. It's a lot easier if you do it this way. Mount your 206. Oops, bit of a slip. Don't know what Liam's doing with the camera there. Then measure at your 104 nickel mark. Make sure it's the right way. Don't cut it the other hand because you can't turn these boards around. Can't skim insulation. So this bit of metal here, so one of my neighbours gave me this. It's just a metal straight edge piece of I-beam. Don't know what it is or where he got it from, but he just showed it to me one day. Is this any good for you? It's a straight edge. And it's 8 foot long, so it's really, really handy bit of kit. Probably one of the best bit of kits I've got in the van. Don't use it for dotting and dabbing, I just use it for cutting these conservatory roofs just to mark them. Right, now there's a great tip coming up for you here. When you're cutting, don't just cut it as you would have cut a piece of wood. Oh, I'm going to cut the chamfer first. You're probably better standing it up. If you stand it up on its end, then you could cut it easier. It's just that I've been doing them 10 years and I can cut them. I can cut anything with ease. It's just experience, and I'm used to doing it that much. I can cut a chamfer on the flat. You might be able to. Hey up, bendy wendy. So it's just a matter of letting the saw do the work and just get through it. Right. Now here's the tip of the day. So you need to adjust the benches so they're running in line with the actual cut that you're going to do. So you're not going to hit a bench when you're cutting. So then, when you do start cutting, you only cut on the downward stroke. And if you notice, when I cut down, I take the pressure off. I'm actually trying to show you here, but I keep jumping out the groove. And you see how I'm cutting down, and I'm not cutting on the upward stroke, I'm just cutting on the downward stroke. I'm going to try and show you. See now, if you cut if you cut on both strokes, it fills, the dust fills the line and you can't see the line. what you're doing. So can you see how I'm just cutting and lifting me almost like a rolling motion down and up? So I'm just cutting on the downward stroke and keeping the line visible so I can see what I'm doing. And you can see I'm just lifting it that little bit when I'm cutting, and it makes it much easier. You can see the line and you can cut it nice and straight like that. Piece of cake. Blast that on the floor. So early on in the video, when I was explaining how I was going to cut it, I did mention to you that the offcut will fit. Anyway, it doesn't. I've cut this one. I had to recut the other one, the actual waste bit that's still lied on the benches. I had to recut it. It was big enough to fit, so I could just recut it, but I did have to recut it, so them handles must be slightly different. They were only a little bit, but they were different. Like I was saying before, 1 or 2 screws in these insulation boards, and they will hold themselves up. I won't leave them for a long time, but they will. There's 2 boards, there's 2 screws in that, and it's held up. Liam's just showing you the chamfer. That's why we chamfer the back of the boards. And that's how you cut it. Get off me bald spot, Liam. I just told him I'm going to knock him out if he carries on. I don't know why he's obsessed with zooming in on my bald spot. It's not even bald. Right, that's the ceiling all boarded. And again, it's a cracking job. Apart from that bit of a one there, that's not too bad, but they are very hard to cut them, like sort of 50p bits. So basically what I did was, I cut that centre one first. The other side of it is that there, that middle section, and that little section there. Then that's a full board, and that's a full board. That is another board with some cut off, which the other half is this here. And what I'm getting at is this is what you've got to try and do. All the offcuts, the length was, let me remember, 206. It was 206 from the edge of the conservatory up to there. So all the little bits, all the offcuts are these here. That one there, that one there. So they're the end of the boards. And then that triangle. So all I did was measure the width, because it was the same as that width over there, and the same length. So cut the width and the length, and then cut it from corner to corner, and that gave me 2 triangles, the same, that one and that one. Then I did exactly the same there and there. So that was them cut. That triangle there, and that's the other, that's the other bit of that one there. And then that one is the other side as that one there. So that's what you've got to try and do when you do these roofs. You've got to try and weigh up where the offcuts are going and how you can best use them. Because if you start cutting them like you would normally, just rattle them up, you'll end up trying to do these triangles out of bits of boards, and it just doesn't work. You need to get, that's why they're squared up, if you notice. So I put a full board, the full board at that point there, and I've got a cut at this end. Rather, if I put a full board against this wall here, then I've had to have a cut. It just doesn't, well, it does work, you can do it that way, but I always prefer squaring it up like that. So that's the first board. You can square it up off that wall, and then when you're cutting that from there and the length. You don't have to mess with any string lines or anything, and it's right. Sometimes the roofs, you've got to mess with the string line, you've got to put string lines up and all sorts of different techniques to try and get a measure. Even as far, I've done as far as putting a piece on where, you know, like a scrap piece, and working to that and measuring to that. But yeah, but I've been doing them 10 years, so I mean, you can see why the angles are so good, because it's just experience. 10 years of doing them, you know, you're going to get good at them, aren't you, eventually. Right, so now it's dabbing time. You can see what they've had this wall off. It's been dabbed once and they've ripped it off, so bit of reveals, some reveals on there, reveals on the ends there, and then I'm going to start cutting the walls. Liam's just going to mix up, and we should get cracking. Should be done for about 3:30. Maybe not, probably before actually. Right, let's dab it. It's going off, right. Life hack that. If it won't go in, and you just kick it. Let me hand me again. Fucking hell, here we go. Boom, yeah. So I filmed this bit, I filmed it. Just about tappy. Oh, that's with my eye. It's on them wires there. Straight in line. Jesus. Right. Tap this side now. You dab that on there. Lovely. You can dab all the way around and across the... What? Fucking kidding.